There was a car accident on January 4th, 1985, and I was very badly hurt. My face was blown off my head, and my femur was shattered into hundreds of pieces. Normally, your femoral artery is pierced and you bleed out in 50 seconds. But I lived, and after 2 years of surgeries, I kind of set off on this path that I didn't know I was going on at the time, and I was just searching for the meaning of life. For 25 years after that car accident, there was this period of time when people asked me, how did you get the scar on your face? I would say, I was almost killed in a car accident. And I took a course, and it was basically one of those transformational, workshops that I make fun and I say are mandatory when you come to Los Angeles, those the very self-improvement type things. And you had to recount the story of your life. And so at that point in time, I started the story of my life. I was almost killed in a car accident, and then you had a partner, and the person basically deconstructed it. So I started the story of my life. I was almost killed in a car accident, and my partner goes, "No, you weren't." And I'm like, and I start again. I go, "I was almost killed in a car accident. My femur was shattered. My face was blown off my head. They didn't notify my parents till the next day." And he goes, "No, you weren't." And so I start, and now I'm getting angry, and I say, "Listen, trust me, I was almost killed in a car accident." He goes, "No, you weren't. You were in a car accident. Everything else you added." I was in the passenger seat, and there was a guy in the back seat and the driver of the car. And in January of 2014, I got this Facebook friend request. I saw the name, and I recognized it as the guy in the back seat who I hadn't spoken to in 29 years. I asked Mike if he would be open to having a conversation to help me put some of the pieces together from the week of my life that I don't recall. And he said yes, and it was a Saturday morning, and I called him up, and he told me about his life for the past 29 years. He had married his college sweetheart, and they had 2 kids, and he'd become mayor of his town in New Jersey, and they had just adopted 2 Chinese kids. And I told him about my life and the travels around the world and films I'd worked on and things like that. And at the end of the conversation, he said, "It's always bothered me that we fought not to be in the death seat, and I won, and I always have this voice in my head that said it could have been me, that had to go through the 2 years of surgery." So I hung up the phone, and I was riding my Vespa down Colorado. I pulled over, and I called Mike back, and I said, "Thank you for the conversation we had this morning. And there was one part of it that didn't really resonate with me, so I need to say something to you. I might be saying it more for me than for you, but I need to tell you that it couldn't have been you. It was supposed to be me. I had been traveling around the world teaching mindfulness and radical acceptance, the Tower of Brock, and owning your life, and teaching people that our minds were built to create woulda, coulda, shoulda, didn't, and all these resentments. And at that point in time, after 29 years, I was ready to say, I'm supposed to have these scars on my face. I'm supposed to have this discomfort in my leg. And until everybody owns every moment of their life instead of what their mind is built to do, which says, oh, I would have been happier if I went to Yale, or I would have been happier if I married this other person, or I would have been happier if I won the lottery. Those things didn't happen, right? So you have to accept what is. But I do know that walking through the fire means embracing every aspect of your life. And until you do that, you're creating your own suffering. Pain does not cause suffering. It's our intolerance of pain that causes suffering. When His Holiness is asked, who's your greatest teacher? Everyone expects him to say the Buddha. And what does he say? The Chinese, who killed 2 million of his people. That's his greatest teacher. So for me, radical acceptance is understanding that everything that happens is for your growth, for your benefit. The glass is either half full or half empty. It's all about perception. So you can't, this is Rick Hansen, he says, you can't pull all the weeds in the garden, but you can plant flowers. So you should know that your mind was built to create woulda, coulda, shoulda, didn't, and that those now show up in your life as resentments. And resentment is like poking yourself in the eye and waiting for the other person to go blind. You know, you're only causing your own suffering by not accepting everything in your life. It's very unpalatable to think that when it's too close to the trauma. But at some point in time, as with me driving my little scooter down the street, I just was like, this is what I have to do. I have to own my life.